Bonjour, in this episode we're going to do a little hack, so we're going to use a non-macro lens to make it into a macro lens. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, my name is Serge Ramelli, I'm a French photographer living in the beautiful, the incroyable city of Paris, France, and also the sunny city of Los Angeles. And I make 2 tutorials per week. Click here if you want to get the raw files that I'm going to give you this week and all of the past weeks, or click here if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, in last episode I showed you how to use Photoshop to blend different images, different exposures, bracketing, to get a more natural HDR photo. Check it out. This week I just want to show you a very short trick that I found recently on the web, which I thought was pretty cool and I wanted to share it with you. And that is the ability to turn any lens into a macro lens. Now, what is a macro lens? A macro lens is a lens that you can come very close to a subject like these beautiful flowers and still have something in focus. Most of the lenses which are not macro, the distance by which you can focus, the minimum distance to focus with a classic 24-70 lens is 45 centimeter, which is roughly 18 inch. So that means that I can only be in focus if I'm at 18 inch of the subject. Now, if I really want to get a detail of the flower, like this beautiful natural blue orchid flower, I'm just kidding, they are not natural because somebody sprayed some tint on it, but they're kind of cool. You would need a macro lens. A macro lens, you can get very close to the subject and make this beautiful details of inside the flower. So what's the trick? Well, the trick is I'm with a Sony A7R, I'm on manual. I'm at 180 because this is a 24-70 lens. So I'm 180. I'm at f13, so I've got a pretty close shutter. Right now my ISO is at 1000, and the trick is very simple. All you have to do is take out the lens like this and turn it around, put it over, it's not easy to hold, put it over the lens, and boom. I'm going to show you the photo. Now, I lost a bit of light. I'm going to boost the exposure. And also one thing which is important is right now I'm at 24. I'm not at 70, I'm at 24. So I'm doing this like this, and I'm going to get very close. And now my 24-70 is a micro lens. Now, it's getting dark, so I have to put in a lot of ISO to take photos, but let's take a few shots, and you'll see what I mean by micro, is meaning I can get really close. I can really get inside of the flower, which would not be possible otherwise, because normally I can only be at 45 centimeter. Right now I'm like about an inch or 2 of the flower. Okay, and if I would have taken my zoom and put it at for example at 17 instead of 24, making my zoom being completely out, then I won't be able to do this. It's because I'm at 24 that I can do this. So it's a pretty simple trick, but sometimes, you know, if you're out in the woods and you want to take a nice flower and you don't have a macro lens, this can help. It's a little bit of a hack, I must say. It's not made for that, but it works kind of all right. And I'm going to show you the photo. We're going to look over the photo on Lightroom, do a little bit of retouching, see if we can do something nice with this. And I thought that was a pretty cool trick. I on purpose put the flowers against a green background, so I could have blue against green. I would have rather have blue against red, but this is kind of cool. All right. Let's check over to Lightroom and see what we got. All right, one thing I did not mention that's very important when you do this technique is to clean your sensor every time you're finished with a little hair blower. You just can blow without touching the sensor just to get any dust out. That's very important. Anytime you change a lens, to do that because it tends to accumulate dust. Anyways, so this photo was taken with a regular 24-70 at 65, so almost completely zoomed out, and that's the best, that's the closest I could get. That's about 18 inch away from the flower. Okay, so this first photo, what I'm going to do is pretty straightforward retouching. I'm going to open up the shadows, bring down the highlights. I'm going to hold down the Alt key and bring the blacks until I crush the blacks a little bit. I'm going to boost the white until I see a bit of white, but that's it. And I'm going to play around a lot with the white balance. I'm going to check daylight,
Not too warm, too blue. Cloudy. Cloudy is better. Shade. Yeah, I like shade better, but I'm going to add a lot of magenta. I like the magenta because the magenta is going to add a lot of red against the blue, making it a better contrast. There is a little dust here. As I told you, make sure you always have a hair blower to take out the dust. And I'm going to add a little bit of contrast. I'm going to minus out the clarity because I like minus clarity, add a bit of vibrance to make it very vivid. I mean, it's a very vivid flower, so I think it's cool. And then to add a bit of magic, I'm going to take a little brush, make sure I'm on exposure, make sure flow in density is around 60, something like this. And I'm just going to add a little bit of light here and here. I'm just going to put some dodging of light on some parts of the flower, which I think it is important. Just to, complexify the light even more. Maybe add a bit of magenta and yellow in these strokes of light. Voila. Let's do a little bit of noise reduction. And on about the profile correction, remove chromatic aberration. And let's maybe add a little bit of post-crop vignetting, just a little bit, not much. Voila, voila. And I think I'm going to even go more crazy on the contrast. I really want this to be a powerful image. Voila. So that's one of the retouching. Let me show you a couple of other ones. Here are some other examples that I retouched earlier. I'll show you this one in full screen. It's a pretty cool act to explore macro photography. Mesdames et messieurs, I will see you in another free episode.